ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So today's verse is chapter 2 text 21. Veda avinashinam nityam yah enam ajam avyayam katham sah पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्ति कं। वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनम् अजमव्ययम्। कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्ति कम्। वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनम् अजमव्ययम्। कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्ति कम्। You can chant that. Want to try? Vedavinashinam nityam yaenam ajamavyayam। Katham sa purushah partha कं घातयति हन्ति कम्। वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनम् अजमव्ययम्। कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्ति कम्। वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम् वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम्. Veda knows avinashinam, indestructible, nityam, always existing, yah, one who, enam, this soul, ajam, unborn, avyayam, immutable, katham, how, saha, that, purushah, person, partha, O Partha, Arjuna, kam, whom, ghatayati, causes to hurt, hanti, kills, kam, whom. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Let's see what's the original translation. Sometimes some people accuse us of not using this original translation website, whereas the Veda base is changed. The reason is that this is sometimes difficult to navigate, whereas that is fast. We can read from here, but then when you take out the verses, it's easier there. Because sometimes speed is of the essence, especially when you're live streaming, the computer can get really slow. So, translation. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, unborn, eternal and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? It's the same. If there is a proper Veda base of the original books, we could actually use that. But there is none. There is, but the text zoom in that is not as big. Can't zoom the text very big. So that's another problem there. So, please respond. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, unborn, eternal and immutable, kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Purport. Everything has its proper utility, and a man who is situated in complete knowledge knows how and where to apply a thing for its proper utility. Similarly, violence also has its utility, and how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. Although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the codes of justice. In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice, and as such, Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate, the man or rather the soul cannot be killed. So for the administration of justice, so-called violence is permitted. A surgical operation is not meant to kill the patient but to cure him. Therefore, the fighting to be executed by Arjuna at the instruction of Krishna is with full knowledge, so there is no possibility of sinful reaction. So this is a very important verse actually. So in the purport especially, Prabhupada is mentioning how, you see, many people sometimes say that you are talking about peace from the Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita was set on a battlefield. And war was about to take place and Arjuna was trying to decline from fighting and Krishna was actually inducing him to fight. So how is it that you preach peace message of from Bhagavad Gita? So here is the answer, very nicely. Prabhupada mentioned many examples here in the purport. Firstly, everything has its utility. We term something as good and bad. Oh, violence is bad and peace is good. But if the police are very peaceful when a criminal commits crime, then that is nonsense. The police must be very violent. If they are not, just like in the Deepavali fair, opposite Mustafa, we were doing our book distribution, and the last day, all the gangsters, they all come and assemble there. So, at least for the last 3 years, the police have tightened the security so much. They have riot control trucks and about, maybe 100 policemen or even more on duty at the place. So, that is necessary, and they have guns and everything. So that is necessary. Therefore, even governments, they spend so much on defense, because that violence is sometimes necessary for protection. If it is needed, it has to be used. Not that all violence is bad. No. In the hands of the right person, it is good. If it lands in the hands of the wrong person, that's another thing. Then that is bad. So the intention is what is to be understood behind the action. The action by itself cannot be praised or condemned. So everything has its utility in its proper place. Just like anger, Hanuman was angry and he burned the whole Lanka. So that anger is necessary and it is glorified and it is worshipped. You see? Nobody condemns, Hanuman, how can he get angry? He is sadhu, he should not get angry. Sometimes when we do book distribution and we sell books, we have to talk to people, and sometimes people come up with some crazy philosophies and accuse Krishna and accuse this whole culture, Bhagavad Gita or whatever. Then, sometimes to defend Krishna's message, we have to put the point forcefully, sternly. And in that cases, because they have no argument to offer, they will say, oh, you are sadhu, how you are getting angry, what kind of sadhu you are? No, you are nonsense, you are fake. So, anger has its proper place. It's not that completely anger must be relinquished. No. But for personal reasons, one should not get angry. If one is getting angry because he is insulted, then that is condemned. Tolerance should be there to the highest degree when one is being offended. If somebody offends me and I get angry, that means I am fully in the false ego platform. There are instances like Rishabdev in the Bhagavatam, even Haridas Thakur and many other saints. They have exhibited extreme levels of tolerance. Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, caned publicly for being a devotee. Prahlad Maharaj was harassed by his father, even was given poison. And we have example of Rishabdev where he and Jadabharat, they tolerated a lot of offences upon themselves. People came and urinated upon Rishabdev, still he did not say anything. That kind of tolerance we're talking about. Jesus Christ tolerated. He was being crucified. He tolerated, and he even was praying on the cross. He was praying that please forgive them, my Lord. They do not know what they are doing. Out of ignorance they are doing. They do not know. They are innocent. Please forgive them. So this is tolerance. We should not take this verse and say that violence also is possible. So okay, I will be violent. When I am angry, I will be violent. No, not every time anger is good. For personal reasons, one should not get angry at all. But when a Vaishnava or Krishna, when a devotee of Krishna or Krishna himself is offended, then one should become angry. When another devotee is offended, when somebody offends another devotee, authorized devotee we are talking about, who is, there are some so-called devotees who are Kalichelas. Kalichela means follower. So Kali means this Kali Yuga. Kalichela means they, Bhaktivinoda Thakur defined them, Mathai Tilak, Galai Mala. They have tilak, nice tilak, Vaishnav tilak, and they have this Galai Mala, the Kanthi Mala. They have all the signs of a devotee they have. But their behavior is not that of a devotee. They simply cause factions, fights among devotees, try to break up, diplomacy, politics, in the name of devotees. Those are rascals, and they are not interested in executing the order of the spiritual master. They are simply interested in finding faults with other devotees. And that is rubbish. And that kind of people who actually try to destroy the movement. Because our Hare Krishna movement is meant for the ultimate good, that means to attain love of God, to get liberated from this material entanglement and attain love of God and be in service of Krishna in a united way. That is if Krishna is satisfied, then we can all be united. If that is the sole aim, because everybody has different aims, that's why there is division. Like countries, they fight because this countryman has his interests, his country's interests, and that man has his country's interests. So even though they come for United Nations meeting, this, that, it will never work. Because they will never be united because the cause is not one. The cause should be one. But if I have my own interest, you have your own interest, somewhere there will be clash. Yeah, we can cooperate for some time, to some extent. But then when our sense gratification is attacked, then there will be fight. So, if Krishna is the center of our activities, aim of our activities, then perfect peace is possible. But this Kalichela means their aim is not to serve Krishna. In the name of serving Krishna, they simply, Kali means the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. The hypocrites in the guise of devotees. And they are very fond of quarrel, causing factions, causing disruption. That is Kali Yuga's duty. Kali Yuga is meant for that purpose. The age is age of quarrel. Even of the smallest reason, people will fight. Even over a dime, people will fight here today. The last day we were coming out, Deepavali fair, we closed everything. It was almost 1 something. And I was coming out. So there was one truck, one lorry, one pickup truck. He was blocking the way. So we asked him to move to the side. And he was shouting all vulgar words. Simply, everything is scolding. using all kind of vulgar words. Mother, this, that, everything. F word million times. Just because we asked him to move aside his van, he is blocking the entire road. This is Kali Yuga. For the most insignificant reason, people will get angry. See? So, that is, if devotees also do that, a third class devotee is like that. He tries to do some friction. He has respect for Krishna, he has respect for Guru, but he does not know how to deal with devotees. And in the process he commits offenses to even Guru. If we don't cooperate, Guru wants us to cooperate, Prabhupada wants us to cooperate, but if somebody doesn't want to cooperate, then actually he is committing offense to Prabhupada also. Although he may say, I want to, I revere my spiritual master so much. As there is a saying, if you love me, first love my dog. Love my dog first, if you really love me. There is a saying like this. So, if we love the spiritual master, then we have to love also the spiritual master's dogs. Whoever is serving the spiritual master, he is also to be respected. Who is actually serving, not saying that he is serving that, but he is not serving. That kind of devotees are useless. Who is strictly executing the order of the spiritual master, he should be revered as much as the spiritual master, and at least as a spiritual master's representative. One should give all respects. That is a very essential point in devotional service. So one has to be tolerant when dealing with devotees, sometimes because of our past habits, because of our past behavioral patterns, because of the modes of material nature we are under the influence of. We may behave impulsively in a certain way. Suddenly we get angry or suddenly we get upset. But we cannot get those feelings get the better of us. We cannot allow those feelings to get better of us. Now we have to always remind ourselves, what am I angry for? We should always contemplate. Simply not that, I feel angry so I just express my anger, I just do whatever I want. Rubbish. That is nonsense behavior. Then that is a cause for fall down. That's how people fall down. When we allow these things to happen. Therefore, we have to be very extremely careful what we are doing, how we are progressing. We have to watch our every step. We are very eager to watch other people's steps. What they are doing, what is he doing. Put some spy there and find out what they are doing. Get the latest information. Get that latest information on your own mind. What is happening within the dirty factory of our mind? Observe that. That is called contemplation, reflection. It's easy to pry on the faults of others, but we should pry on our own faults if we want to progress. It always feels better when we put down someone, because in that way we are raised artificially. We feel raised, actually. We are not raised. In fact, the more you become humble, trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sada harihi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us, we have to be more humble than the grass, more tolerant than the tree. Tree is very tolerant. It tolerates all kinds of weather conditions, cold, minus temperatures, minus zero, sub-zero temperatures, very hot temperatures, and also it gives shade to whoever comes under. Not only tolerates the heat, but also gives shade to whoever is under the tree, and gives fruits, flowers, and also the wood it will give. And then somebody makes an axe handle out of the wood and fixes an axe and then cuts the tree, taking the wood from the tree and cutting the tree. Still the tree tolerates. It doesn't protest, oh, you took the wood from me only and now you're killing me. Still you tolerate. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, more tolerant than the tree. Amanina manadena. Don't expect any respect from others. The moral education teaches us, give respect, take respect. But our education teaches, give respect but don't expect any respect. Give all respect to others but don't expect any respect in return. They spit at you, take it. One should not falsely conclude, oh, when a devotee is offended, one should become angry. I am a devotee, no? I am a devotee, no? Somebody offending me, how can I sit silent? I am a devotee. Why should you be angry? Rubbish. When I think I am a devotee, first thing is I am not devotee. If I think I should be respected, I should be honored, this is actually weeds. These are distractions from the devotional service, from the humble attitude. The bhakti is considered or is likened to a creeper. Creeper is very delicate. Creeper is very delicate. It's not very strong. It does not have strong roots and trunk and all that. So the bhakti is also like that. Our bhakti is very, very delicate. It has to be nourished very carefully. If you are not careful, then it will die. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that a devotee should be like a gardener. It's like a garden. Gardening is very fine art, delicate art. You say, whoever got green fingers, what is a green finger? Not a lady's finger, green color, no. Who has a good hands for growing plants, good sense of gardening. So that gardening means is very delicate, very fine, very careful attention is being given. You see? So when he has to use some kind of pesticide to cut out the weeds, or he has to trim down the weeds and give nourishment for the plants and water, not just watering, simply put water, will die, the plant will die. How much water to put and how much sunlight, how much he has to take care of the weeds, because if he lets the weeds also, if you put water, weeds also will grow. And if you don't take care of cut down the weeds, and the weeds will outgrow the plant and the plant will die. So when one is cultivating this bhakti lata means creeper, this creeper of devotional service, these weeds also will grow. In the beginning, one can be very humble and one approaches the whole process in a humble way. And as one advances, one is 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years in the movement, he thinks he is very big. He can think. That possibility is there. If we are not careful with ourselves, then these pride, arrogance, this desire to be worshipped, all these things will increase. And if we are not careful to cut that down, then actually our devotional service will go down, will die. So therefore, one has to be very careful. Haridas Thakur was the greatest devotee. Who is he? Haridas Thakur. 192 rounds every day he used to chant. Every day 192 rounds. Nobody in the whole world can do it. He only did it. So he was being beaten publicly, 22 marketplaces he was beaten. He was not angry. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later told, actually in this current issue of the magazine, the whole life of Haridas Thakur is there. You can read. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told later on that, to Haridas Thakur, when you were being beaten, I wanted to kill immediately all those men who were beating you. Because actually Haridas Thakur was born a Muslim man. And then he was attached to Krishna, and then he was chanting Krishna's name. And in fact Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him the title Namacharya. the authority on the holy name of Krishna, the highest authority. So pure devotee he was. But then when the Muslim king, he got very angry. How come you Muslim, you converted, what is this? Then he said, no, I cannot stop chanting Hare Krishna. No, even if you kill me, I won't be able to stop. I just cannot give it up. Then alright, he was ordered to be caned in 22 marketplaces publicly. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later told that when you were being beaten, I wanted to immediately kill those offenders. But because of your constant prayer to save them, I was not able to kill them. You were constantly praying, as they were beating you, you were praying that please save them. Just like Jesus Christ. He was also praying like that. So that's why I could not kill them. What I could do was, I took all those whiplashes on my back instead. That's why actually Haridas Thakur did not die. Any ordinary human would have died within 3 or 4 marketplaces, died, finished. Cannot exist. But after 22 marketplaces beating, he still did not die and he was still okay. He did not even feel pain. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I took all that beating. Then he showed his back and back was full of whiplash marks. Then Haridas Thakur fainted. Oh, you have taken so much for me. So, this is very intimate relation between the Lord and His devotees. So, if He has tolerated, who are we? How can we say that I am a devotee, I am being offended and so I will have to get angry? No, that is rubbish. Other devotees, when they are offended, then one should get angry. Or if Krishna is offended, one should get angry. So, anger has its place. So, here, in this context of Bhagavad Gita, this 221 verse, violence also has its utility, Prabhupada says. And how to apply violence rests with the person in knowledge. This is important. Knowledge is important. Knowledge of what? Just like police, he is supposed to understand the knowledge of the law of the country. He should be aware of what is legal, what is not, what is permitted, what is criminal. He should know. Then he can execute properly. Similarly, previously the kings were Rajarshis, saintly kings. Saintly kings means what? They are very thorough in the scriptures. Saintly means first of all you are obedient to God. But if you don't know what are the rules of God, how can you be obedient to them? That means the rules are the Shastra. So a king, an authorized king must be, he should be in knowledge of the Shastras, of the scriptures. So that is a proper king. So Pandavas were like that. The 5 brothers, Arjuna was one of them, the middle. So the Kauravas on the other hand, they were on the path of adharma. So Krishna wanted to stop their adharmic activities. He tried always to do that. They were not willing. So alright, final war. Krishna even went as a messenger of the Pandavas over to the Kauravas to send the message of peace and goodwill. Still they were not interested. Alright, Krishna wanted war. So that war is not simply like the First and Second World War. This recent First and Second World War, they are actually results of karmic reaction. But in our epic there is First and Second World War. Ramayana was the First World War, Mahabharata was the Second World War. They both were, actually there are many wars which happened, but these are most famous in human society. They both were dharma yuddha, war for the re-establishment of religious principles. Religious principles means the obedience to God. That is the primary aim. If that was somehow disturbed, then there is yada yada hi dharmasya. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. जय श्री श्री राधा मदन. See, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Then what he does when he comes? Open hospitals, open schools? No. That Krishna does not do that. Nowadays some so-called charity, welfare or religious organizations, they are doing like that, opening hospitals, schools. Krishna did not open hospitals. This is what he does. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So in every yuga he comes to re-establish principles of religion. That is what Krishna comes for. You may say, oh, then how come no hospital opening or school opening? No. These bodily disorders increase because of irreligious life. When one's life is not regulated in religious principles, then his mental situation, mental health is affected. Why everybody is having stress nowadays? The stress has become a very common word. And psychiatry is becoming very big business. Why? Because people don't have the real answers to their life's confusions. They try to adjust their material situation this way, that way, this way, that way. It is like, if I am carrying a burden on this hand and it's very painful, then I transfer to here and transfer to here and transfer to here and transfer to here and transfer to here. This is not the answer. Get rid of that nonsense burden. That is the answer. But they want to carry the burden and still be happy or without pain. So this material life is a burden. Is a burden. Whether one likes it or not, it actually is a burden. So one should get rid of this and the attachment that we have to our family, to ourselves. These are actually the things, just like the burden. I want to carry this because I am attached to it. Otherwise, why I want to carry? I am attached. Kutumba bharanena va. Kutumba means family. Family life is a bharanena. It's a burden. So, this material life, which is based centrally on the family life, is a big burden. That's why the whole Vedic civilization is about coming out of that situation. First of all, as much as possible, don't get into it. Gotten into it, fine. Think of coming out. Not that, let us live happily ever after. It will not happen anyway. Even if one does not come out, when one grows old and anyway we have to give up all our family. One day we will die and we have to give up our family anyway. Better do it in knowledge than in ignorance. In ignorance we will be dragged out of the family. And because we cannot give up the attachment, it is so painful. Death is that's the pain of death is accentuated because of the extreme attachment one has for the material situation, bodily situation. But if one is in knowledge, and with knowledge he detaches himself from that family affection, then one can easily come out. And of course, we cannot artificially detach ourselves and create a void. See, now we are attached to our family, the love, the activities that are centered around all that is keeping us busy and is keeping us occupied. But if we just suddenly give up all that, oh, I have to be detached. So, no affections, no activities, nothing. We create a vacuum in that field, then that is another problem. We have to first fill it up with Krishna consciousness. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, the stress is not so much on giving up the material activities. Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya. Krishna's suggestion is like this. Maya Sakta Mana. Get attached to me. Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasi Tachrunu. He is saying, first get attached to me first. And as you get more and more attached to me, the detachment to other things come automatically. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. With mind attached to me. So it is not that we have to give up all attachment. We have to be attached to Krishna. Then we can give up this attachment. As I say, with the in a cup, there is suppose water, and if I pour out some of the water, now the rest of the cup is filled with air. It is not empty. The moment you pour some out, it will be occupied by something else. And if you fill more water, and then the air comes out, and the water is filled up. So either way, we have to be filled. If we create a vacuum, then we cannot be happy in a position of inactivity and no feelings, no nothing. We are not stones. A stone maybe can remain without feelings, without activities. That is stone. But we are not stones. We are living people. We are living souls. So that attachment is natural. But the attachment should be to Krishna. That is the purification of attachment. Our attachment should be purified. Then one will be properly situated in knowledge. And such a person who is not attached to his material situation, that kind of person can execute religious principles. So the Rajarshis were on that platform. Maharaj Prithu, Maharaj Yudhishthir, even Lord Ramachandra, the ideal king. So all these examples are of ideal kings. So they did not rule because of attachment. Oh, I like my country. Let us have a national anthem for our country. No, there is no national anthem. Only anthem is of God. Everybody sings the praise of God, Krishna. There is no other separate agenda. They ruled only for establishing religious principles. And even if they were very strong and powerful kings, and if their neighbor king was very weak, not that, let us take up that land also. No. If he was ruling according to religious principles, then this king will offer all protection to that king. But if he is going against religious principles, then there will be war. Oh, that king is not ruling according to religious principles. He is allowing a religion to flourish. Okay, wage war. That is Dharma Yuddha. So this is to be understood. So going back to that verse, nice example Prabhupada has given. You see, although the justice of the peace awards capital punishment to a person condemned for murder, the justice of the peace cannot be blamed because he orders violence to another person according to the codes of justice. The judge in the court, he says, your punishment, you have to be hanged because you murdered someone. Then, although there is violence, he has ordered violence on that person, but the judge is not held for trial for that violence. He is not judged for that violence. He is just awarding the punishment according to the codes of justice in the law book. He is just doing the duty according to law. So therefore, the judge is not a criminal by ordering such killing, and he cannot be blamed. Therefore, In Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, it is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Nowadays, if someone commits a murder, he is just given some punishment, maybe a long punishment, but not he is not hanged. It may sound very compassionate, but this is not actually the religious principle. Religious principle means because he has killed someone, he will have to be killed either this life or next life. But if a king orders his execution in this life, then next life he will not carry forward that sin of killing that person. Because if he does carry forward, then next life he will have to be killed in an accident or in a gruesome way, or he is murdered in the next life or something like that. So these are all very subtle laws of karma. Because the governments, they do not know all these things, they simply have their own set of rules. And they are not helping the soul actually by doing that. In some countries, death penalty is totally abolished. No death penalty. No matter what. So, that is not good. It may sound, oh, how come you're so cruel? No, they're just like surgical operation, it is said. When a doctor puts a knife on the body and then cuts open, is that very nice or cruel? It's actually not cruel. It is painful, definitely. If anybody pokes a needle, you will first slap him. But you allow the doctor to cut open and do whatever he wants. Not whatever. Suddenly cell on kidney, there is a problem. So, when talking about curing the person by the surgical operation, that is not necessary. We voluntarily go to the hospital to be cut open. You see that? That is because we agree that this is good for me. So similarly, we should know that these so-called cruel punishments are actually beneficial for the soul, because the soul anyway does not die. But if that mentality of the criminal mentality or sinful mentality is curbed by changing the body, that is good. The result of karma is taken away. In a Manu Samhita, the law book for mankind, Krishna. It is supported that a murderer should be condemned to death so that in his next life he will not have to suffer for the great sin he has committed. Therefore, the king's punishment of hanging a murderer is actually beneficial. Similarly, when Krishna orders fighting, it must be concluded that violence is for supreme justice. And thus Arjuna should follow the instruction, knowing well that such violence committed in the act of fighting for Krishna is not violence at all, because at any rate the man, or rather the soul, cannot be killed. So for the administration of justice, so-called violence is permitted. We cannot use this and say, yes, for Krishna, let me now kill all the people who are against Krishna. No. Because especially in Kali Yuga, everybody is so-called against Krishna only, more or less. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us the example. He did not come with, usually in every incarnation, he comes with weapons. Shankha and Padma is for blessing the devotees, and Chakra and Gada is for Paritrana Sadhunam, Vinashasha Dushkritam. So Chaturbhuja, the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, the disc, the flower, the lotus flower, the Gada, the club, and the conch. So these four are there. Why? Simply some nice items, souvenir items. No, these have meaning. Not that conch, nice design, I will hold it. Not simply some whimsical thing. They have reasons. So the Shankha and the Padma is for blessing the devotees, Paritranaya Sadhuna. And Vinashasha Dushkritam, to kill the demons and non-devotees, Gada and Chakra. This is actually, by doing that, by displaying those symbols, he is actually conveying a message there. So, these symbols, Lord Vishnu or Narayana, Chaturbhuja Rupa. So that administration of justice, the Lord is coming for that purpose. So, but in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's case, he did not come with any weapons. He came with Harinam, the name of Krishna. Because he thought, if I bring weapons, then everybody has to be killed. Because they are so sinful that all the people in the world have to be killed. Nobody is pious enough. So, what is the use? So, better kill their sinful mentality and make them devotees. So, this Harinam, this name of Krishna, that is so powerful, just like Jagai Madhai, they were so sinful in the Chaitanya Lila, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes 500 years ago. This incident is there, Jagai Madhai. Two brothers born of Brahmin families but completely lost all culture and became drunkards, womanizers, everything. Robbers, everything. Murderers. So, they were delivered by Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, that is the supreme benediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Rupa Goswami prays, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. O most munificent incarnation, Mahavadanyaya. Munificent means very charitable. You are Krishna himself appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. You are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. This is, how rare pure love of Krishna. Krishna will even give liberation, but he will never give devotional service or pure love for himself. He will hardly give that. He will reserve that for the most rarest person. This Narad Muni is speaking this verse. Rajan patir gururalam bhavatam yadunam daivam priyah kulapati kvana kinkaro vaham astveva manga bhagavan bhajatam mukundo muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. My dear king, the supreme person Mukunda is actually the maintainer of all the members of the Pandava and Yadu dynasties. He is your spiritual master, worshipable deity, friend and the director of your activities. To say nothing of this, he sometimes serves your family as a messenger or servant. This means he works just as ordinary servants do. Those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily, but he does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service to him. So to be able to serve Krishna is a very, very rare opportunity. We know how rare already is getting liberation. Mukti is very, very rare. Moksha is very, very rare. But here it is said the Lord may even give moksha easily, but he will not give his devotional service very easily. That means the devotional service is even more confidential and higher than moksha. Moksha means to get liberated from the material condition. But devotional service is to be reinstated in the original healthy spiritual constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. The comparison is like this. Moksha is just like coming out of sickness. Suppose I am very sick, I am in the hospital admitted, and then after I get cured, just on the verge of, just got cured from the disease has just gone away. At that time, my body is still very weak. Although I have just come out of disease or whatever ailment I have. The body is a very, very fragile position. Again it can relapse. There can be a relapse of the same disease if I am not taken care of and come to actually the healthy state. So moksha is just coming out of the diseased condition of material life. But devotional service is to be actually situated in a healthy and fit position of executing service, devotional service to the Lord. So there is a difference. So is bhakti means mukti? So it is mukti and more than mukti. Mukti is already a subset of bhakti. It is a subset. Suppose if somebody says I am very healthy and fit, that means he has no disease. He is free from any disease. So it is not that one is healthy and fit and is full of diseases. What is that? So like that. So when bhakti is there, mukti is already there. It is just a byproduct of bhakti. So that awarding of devotional service is very, very rare. So we have to come to that state. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving that very easily. That's why he is considered the most munificent. Namo Mahavadanyaya. You are so charitable that you are giving the most difficult and most confidential thing freely to everybody. Without even considering whether that guy is a rascal or nonsense. Number one, you are not even saying, just giving everybody, even to Jaga and Madha who are the most sinful people. How is he giving? By this Hare Krishna mantra chanting. This Hare Krishna mantra is not ordinary mantra. And we should never think this Hare Krishna mantra, chant. I was asked to chant, the devotees asked me to chant, I would chant. That is good. But then we should also progress to understand the glories of the holy name. How glorious, how powerful this holy name is. We should not chant to just get rid of sinful activities, sinful reactions. Although that will happen when one chants. All the past sinful reactions will be eradicated. But one should not chant to eradicate sinful reactions. One should chant, the highest goal is not to eradicate sinful reaction or to get moksha and mukti. One should get bhakti. For that purpose one should chant. Automatically mukti will be there. You don't even have to ask for it. It's like one has $1 million. He already has $10. He doesn't need to borrow from somebody $10, give me. No, he already has $1 million. When he has so much money, no need of some little money. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing that. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even more merciful than Krishna himself. Krishna said, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja first. You give up all other engagements, surrender unto me first. Then I will give you moksha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, you surrender or don't surrender. Take this Harinam and not only moksha, you get bhakti. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Krishna, he is more merciful than Krishna. That's why we are in the most fortunate position and time of this universe. We are actually in the most fortunate time. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't come every now and then. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes only once in every day of Brahma, it is said. Means once in 8.64 billion years, once only he comes. And we are so fortunate that we are just 500 years from there. And we also have Prabhupada, who is even more merciful than even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because at least Chaitanya Mahaprabhu time, one has to chant 64 rounds. All the Goswamis, they were chanting 64 rounds. Except Haridas Thakur, he was chanting 192 rounds. 3 times 64. So, but otherwise, until Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all were chanting 64 rounds every day. But Prabhupada, saw us so fallen we are not able to chant 64 rounds. So therefore he said, chant 16 rounds minimum. Minimum, of course, if you can chant more, that is good. But minimum 16 rounds every day. And other time, Not that 16 rounds and after that watch latest movie. No. Engage in other forms of service. Keep yourself engaged in Krishna consciousness. Other forms of service. Because we are so restless, that's why Prabhupada said 16 rounds. Because if to chant 64 rounds, one must be very steady. One cannot be having a restless mind and chant 64 rounds. We cannot do that. So to do it every day and every day, very difficult. So Srila Prabhupada, he said 16 rounds. So we are very fortunate that we are in this most auspicious time. And also we are introduced to the Ritvik system. We don't have to go to that guru. Some devotees, they went through very, very terrible times. After Prabhupada left, the ISKCON so-called gurus, they manipulated the whole thing and they created disaster in the movement. So many devotees left because they fell down, they fell from grace, and the devotees lost faith and all that. That is another turmoil. So we are at least now in the most fortunate position. So we should not let go of this. That is very important. So I would like to stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic? So somebody asked a question. I think Vijay Sarathi Prabhu. It is a little out of topic actually, but the question is, what is the difference between mind and intelligence? So the difference between mind and intelligence, of course this subject is not today's subject, just that, but anyway we will answer the question. Mind is like a factory of just desires. Desiring this and desiring that. That is mind. Sometimes it will say this is good, that is bad, this is good, that is bad. So all are just based on sensory perception. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. So just by the sensory position, it is deciding. Sometimes this is good, sometimes that is bad. That is explained in the why is it so big? That which is expressed by material words or meditated upon by the material mind is not ultimate truth. What therefore is actually good or bad within this insubstantial world of duality, and how can the extent of such good and bad be measured? Okay, this actually is more clear in this one. This is one. Antya 4.176. Dvaite bhadra bhadragyan sab manodharm. Sab manodharm. A bhala, a mandar, a sab bhram. In the material world, conceptions of good and bad are all mental speculations. Therefore, saying this is good and this is bad is all a mistake. So this is what the mind does. The mind's only the thing is, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. Somebody is against my sense gratification, he is bad, he is my enemy. Somebody is allowing my sense gratification, he is my friend. Just like that, water in the summer, oh, it's good because I am feeling good by bathing or in the swimming. Winter it is bad because it is very painful. It's very, it's not enjoyable. So, based on our criterion of sense gratification, we are classifying everything as good and bad and neutral or whatever. Similarly, persons also. Now, that is mind. Intelligence is the rationalizing power. With with sharp knowledge, good knowledge, one can rationalize. Even if the mind says, even if the mind wants to do it, with my intelligence I can control that activity of the mind. Like as devotees, we are supposed to eat prasadam. Suppose because I am still carrying the flavor of my past habits, oh, when I pass by a restaurant, some smell comes, so nice, onion smell. Then, what the intelligence does, if it is strong, if it is fed with the transcendental knowledge by reading of Prabhupada's books, and if we are in the association of devotees, and if we are strong enough to check that temptation of the mind, then the intelligence, what it does, no, that is not, that is out of bounds, only prasadam. So, we are controlling the activities of the mind. The mind is throwing some desire, and the intelligence has to check it and to guide it to use it in the Krishna's service. That's why in one of the, I think 11th canto or something, the mind is compared to the wife and the intelligence is compared to the husband. So, generally it is so that women are more materially interested. They are not as spiritually interested. Usually. So, the husband is, the man, he is supposed to be spiritually very strong and he has to guide, not be a subservient to the wife and whatever the wife says, yes, nod the head. Like a puppet. Not supposed to be like that. But nowadays we see only like that. Because why? The man is not strong. There is no austerity, no power of austerity for the man. The man has no tapasya, nothing. Whatever the wife says, yes. Sometimes we ask them to buy a book. He says, my wallet is with my wife. Why did you give the wallet to the wife? In 5th canto or 6th canto or somewhere. 7th canto, I think. His family considered like a very harsh word actually. Jackals and thieves and If I lose my wallet or if somebody pickpocket gets my wallet, I'll complain to the police, But here I'm voluntarily giving wallet. I am earning money. I'm voluntarily giving wallet. What is this? And she is shopping until totally broke. Of course, don't say that every woman is like that, but mainly it is generally observed is Vedic, because woman is in the mode of passion, highly in the mode of passion. So therefore, the man is supposed to be in the mode of goodness in order to control the activities of the wife and dovetail her to devotional service. That's why when a husband becomes devotee and then the wife also gets 50% of the credit because she helps him. Of course, if she is against, sometimes it is good. Like in Prabhupada's case, she was against Prabhupada. Because of that, we are here now sitting as devotees. We are able to practice some devotional service because Prabhupada's wife was not cooperative. So there is Krishna's arrangement. That is also there. But if the wife cooperates, then she will also get 50% of the merit of the husband. So in any way, the intelligence is compared to the husband and the mind is of the wife. Very chanchal. Chanchal means very flickering, not steady. Mind is not steady at all. But sthita prajna means to be very steady intelligence. That means intelligence should be so strong. Strong doesn't mean, I have learned some, I have read Prabhupada's books once, so now my intelligence is very. No, it's a daily affair. Because the moment when we are reading, yes, we are very strong. The moment we stop reading, again it starts to dwindle. Again we have to read again to come bring it back. Because if you don't fill it up with spiritual knowledge, the Maya will take over that. Whatever is left. Maya will take over, slowly eat into our consciousness. So we have to be very strict. So that is mind and intelligence. I hope that answered the question. Jairaj Prabhu is asking another question. During Kurukshetra war, Krishna was riding the chariot of Arjuna. Does the horses driving the chariot represent the five senses? First of all, there were only 4 horses. If you see this picture here, for those who are online. So that picture, 4 horses only. We have 5 senses. See that? So it had only 4 white horses. So it is a myth that the 4 horses represent the 5 senses. How can? Doesn't make sense. I have seen one painting where the horses had 5, the chariot had 5 horses. That is wrong actually. It's not accurate. He had 4 horses. So it doesn't mean the senses. But there is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita which compares the body to a chariot. Well, let's go to that. No. Where is that? There is a painting also. $634. Yes, actually it is somewhere in the Vedic literature. It is quoted in 634 purport. Let us go to that. The painting is this. Yeah. This is the painting, This is the 5 senses: eye, nose, ear, touch and taste. The 5 horses has senses. So let us see the verse. In the Vedic literatures it is said, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi Shariram Ratham Evacha Buddhintu Sarathim Vidhi Manaha Pragraham Evacha Indriyani Hayanahur Vishayamsteshu Gocharan Atmendriya Manoyukto Bhokte Tyahur Manishinaha. The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body and the intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, just like the reins, And the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in the association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by great thinkers. So this verse is there. So that is there in the Vedic literature. But it's not that it's not the horses of Arjuna. So any other questions? One last thing, that it is said that any of the senses, any of the roaming senses, if they are allowed, Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati pragyam vayurnavam ivambhasi. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Now imagine if this chariot of the body and the 5 horses, and one horse sees something else and goes in that direction, what will happen? And if every horse has its own direction, what will happen to the chariot? That is how our position is now. So therefore all the senses must be focused on Krishna. Then it will move in one direction towards Krishna. So with that I would like to stop. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे.